I would say that we're going through a time which must be like, you know, some kind of cycle or something. You know, like maybe like this is some, I don't know, lunar alignment and planetary, or I know it's the solstice coming up. I've had a few people I've been talking to today. Spoke to a really interesting guy. But anyway, I'm going to record that and I'll put it up. Really, excuse me, it's a recording, so I'm going to put that up really soon. You see that? The network can't do that and stuff. Do you know what we see? It's just been one of them days. It really has been one of them days. So, yeah, quite a lot of it my error. You know, just like plain old simple human error. I pressed a different button on the server and suddenly I couldn't record anybody and everything was disappearing and it was like, what's going on? It was alright and I just pressed the wrong button. That's all it was. Kind of sorted out. Big false alarm. So apologies to the people who kind of went, oh, is it not on? Oh, we're back on again. Oh, yes, we're off. Oh, no, we're on again. You know, and as it turned out, it was me. I'll hold my hands up. I'll hold my hands up to that one. I think I'm pretty sure I pressed the wrong button. Hey, never mind. Yeah, it is, you know, it's not as if that the Draco reptilian warriors have risen out of the pit. And oh no, they've already come out of the pit, haven't they? I forgot. Are they ruling the world this week? Oh, I can't keep up with it all. I really can't keep up with it. I'm telling you, I really can't. So. What we thought we'd do is we'd go camping. And you know, I heard Barry and Dave and them lot, and they're saying, you know, oh, are you tagging along? Right, there's a reason, right, why I'm going camping at the end of my street. Because I can't afford the petrol to go camping anywhere else in the car. But it's great that people do, and to actually know that these guys have come together. I mean, that's going to be wonderful, isn't it? Dean Clifford. Rick Simpson. Imagine them teaming up, disappearing into the outback. I'm never to be heard of again. There was legends of giant plumes of smoke blowing over. The last of the legends of the BC Bud. I can see that picture of them. Yeah, all of them. Absolutely whacked out of the faces. You know, what I do want to warn Dave about, right, is apparently if you don't like it orally, then they use suppositories. Kind of gets me a bit worried, that, you know. But hey, you know, never mind. We'll just skip over that bit quickly, pretend we never mentioned it. So yeah, we've had a great time on Darkcity. The little camp at the end of my street is on, it's a bit further than the end of my street, actually. But it's walking distance. The camps there is on 250 square metres, or originally it was 250,000, quarter of a million square metres of land which was designated for allotments. A long time ago now. A very long time ago. I mean, 11, 12, 13, could be 14, 15, I don't know. It was 11 years ago when I actually first said it. So it must be 14 years now, could be 15 years. Where the local authority offered me 2 allotments there. 2 allotments. I used to have 3 allotments in Duckingfield. And they offered me there. And I moved off the allotments that I had onto... I was supposed to move on the following August, I think it was. I get my dates a bit mixed up. You know, I'll give them 5 years either way. Yeah, you don't hold me to a day or a month. You know, I'll just say I've been waiting 10 years. Because I've been waiting a lot longer than 10 years. It was 11 years before I got off my ass and did anything. And that involved me and a guy called Nigel Rowlands. I'm Paul Hayden, by the way, for the record. And Nigel, at the time, when the motorway went through... Now, I know it's jumping about a little bit, this. And if you haven't been following Darkcity at all, if you just tuned in, and you know, it's going to be a bit weird. So I'm going to imagine you never have. You know, you've not been listening on Darkcity, and try and fill you in as best I can in a short space of time, and let Barry have a rant as well. So yeah, it involved me and Nigel Rowlands going up to this site. Nigel was a councillor at the time, that the motorway was agreed to go in, and part of that motorway was to return the allotments to the people. The entire area was agricultural land. We lost all of it. We've lost all of it. And the bit that remains is supposed to be a golf course. It's on a hill near a motorway. And then there's a lower lying bit of land, which is supposed to be the allotment site. Or at least a part of it was supposed to be the allotment site, approximately 250,000 square metres. And you can see this on Google Earth, you know. Well, we've actually found out since then that it's actually a larger plot. I'll come to that in a moment. I mean, Nigel went up there, and when Nigel actually saw this allotment site, and then, like I say, some 14 years ago now, there was roads in between it, there was topsoil ready. It was ready. He was ready to move on. There was a garage. He was ready. There it was, the allotment site. What are you talking about? He didn't know. He was a member of the council. He did not know. They kept this a secret. I've often wondered why. You know, was it that there's some kind of secret covert conspiracy that, you know, the Draco reptilians are really living in a secret cavern underneath Ashton Town Hall? But, you know, come on, you know, I mean, and, you know, if you're into all that, come and have a look, right? I'm telling you, come and have a look, because I think the Draco reptilians might be living under the town hall. No, I don't really, but, I mean, some of you will do, right? I mean, I've no doubt about that. It's a very strange place. But anyway, it's kind of to be not as kind of sinister and not so devious as that. It just boils down to, right, what happened is, the local authority and people within it turned a blind eye, right, to no tipping licence. They allowed people to dump anything they wanted, right, and then covered it over with topsoil. I'm telling you, this is like them coming in at 9/11 with all that soil and covering it up. It's a cover-up. I mean, it really is a cover-up. I mean, this cover-up is huge, and I'm not talking... Look, well, I live here, and you know, to me, it's like a massive thing, but sat with me Chris Sparky from Resistance News. You see, the only news programme we could get to cover this. Nobody else has ever mentioned any part about it. They've all gone about, oh, the allotments are lovely, and they are. This is why I'm going about that. It is. Don't think that we've lost it. We haven't. There's a few little bits there they never got to. They're only tiny pockets of it. They really are. And it is. It's next to nothing, but it's part of it. It's been there all along. It survived. To me, we owe that little bit. We should allow that little bit to at least expand out, have a bit of a breathing space. But I ain't going to lie to anybody. It's on a tip. That's what it is. It's an unlicensed tip. Well, go on, Chris. Is it? How big is it? Would you say this is a?
It's huge.
You know,
it's massive. There's loads of potential there. Loads of potential.
It could be a forest. It could be a golf course. But you see, we don't know what's under there for certain. We know there's Blue Billy, which is a low-level toxic waste from the chemical industry. Well, hang on a minute, would you? If that was being dug up, right, at the motorway, when they actually dug through the motorway, right, where did it go from? Where does it come from? We don't know. We do know there's asbestos. We found asbestos, you know. We haven't actually gone around looking for it, you know. We were an allotment action group. We want our allotment. Hey, we'll reenact the diggers. Great story, the diggers. And when we started digging in it, we started finding stuff, and they brought these bulldozers and this soil and started covering it up really quick, and they were really annoyed. They didn't want us there, and it seemed like it was a bit odd, but the local authority, they wouldn't get involved. They never mentioned it. They even moved the boundary of the land. They moved the boundary of the land. They went, oh no, well that's not our responsibility now. That's not in Ashton-under-Lyne. That's not in Ashton. That's in Droylsden. That's in this other town. And it's not nothing to do with us. It's these other councillors, they've done it. No, they haven't. No, they haven't. You're all lying, conniving, thieving thugs. That's what you are. That's what you are. And you know, everybody knows. Everybody knows. You can't hide, right, a landfill site, right, that you can see off Google Earth. Okay? You can't. Now look, I know there's a lot of people got a lot of pressure, and that just seems to me what kind of happens, you know. It's like, oh, well, we've got this to do, we've got that to do, and I'm right with you, you know. I'm right with you. I know it now. You know, it's been a long time since I've been this skin. You know, I've always kind of like, oh yeah, and I'm really on my ass. And I'm like there with everybody. I feel it now. I just want to dance. I just want to get on that field me and have a dance, or you know, dig up a bit of dirt. You know, spend a night in a tent. There's a good chance, right? They're not going to want us to do it. They don't. They might not want us to do it. And I don't know who they are. You see, the police know about this place. I've just spoken to the police on site. We've spoken to the people who work for the people who actually told them to go and bury it all. The guys who were actually, they said, oh, go and cover it all over quick. You know, go and cover it over quick. I mean, literally. I mean, we've got a member of Parliament, an MP, who told us about this. You know, these are good people. They're not bad people. They're just terrified. We've got some kind of mafiosa or something. I don't know what they are. I don't know if they are there anymore, or they're all just scared of one another's shadows, to be honest. You know? I mean, I know there's been connections. I mean, I've had some awful things done to me by these little schoolboy gangs. That's all they are. Because the people in there who have got authority over them, the people who, you know, like, you know, the heads of the departments and stuff, they were astounded when they found out what had happened to me. Astounded. They were, oh man. And there weren't a lot they could do. You know, because you know, you know, when your mate messes up, you know, do you run to the police and say to him, look, my mate's just messed up, he dropped later. You know, come on. All right, and I know really when people are getting hurt and they're getting injured and stuff, and thankfully nobody has here. Nobody's really got injured. Well, a mate of mine actually did kind of whack himself with a rake routine one afternoon, but it didn't hurt him too. You know, and he was only showing people, you know, what you've got to be careful with, and that was quite funny. But yeah, nobody's really got hurt. A wheelbarrow got damaged. We learnt a lot about that. You don't chain your wheelbarrow to a tree. We learnt loads about how quickly, when we start to put value on possession, you end up putting a chain around something that's living. No, come on. If somebody with a mindset to steal a wheelbarrow is what they're gonna do? Cut the chain? Just cut the tree down. Just cut your tree down. You know, yeah. You know, next to that, you've got a chain around your ankle and you're being sold on a slave ship. We learnt there, us. We learnt a lot on that bit of land. You know, nature's already started to take it back. Okay, not, you know, really what it was intended to do, but maybe nature didn't intend it to be allotments. You know, I learnt a lot about permaculture now. I didn't know a lot about permaculture. I did see that I had a bit of a vision of the place, but sometimes I'm a stumbling fool. I freely admit that. I really am a stumbling fool. If I would have realised what I was getting myself into by going up there and planting some potatoes and starting to plant trees and put fruit in and little fruit bushes and dart them about all over the place, and you know that the occupation of vegetables would cause these people so much hassle. And it didn't. They ignored us. They just ignored us. They ignored us. We went to their meetings. We told them in their meetings they promised to give us this, and they promised to do that, and they promised to do the other, and they promised. Guess what they did? I tell you what, right? I'll give a free Darkcity mug, right, to anyone who can answer the question: what did our local council do after telling us numerous times? They give us reports and they fill it, and they were getting. Just let me know, right? Anybody. Right, I'm telling you, they've got the wrong website on them, and they're actually for when I was on another radio station.
Phone in, we got the prize here on the brand new Darkcity mug.
Yeah, which
there it is, look at it.
Careful, really nice. There'll be, we're going to use these on the coconut shy, that Chrissy's going to be saying up there at the weekend. So yeah, this thing is going ahead, the Astronaut Allotment Action, so Earthfest. It's definitely happening without any doubt at all. I've just got to check this. What are you doing now? See, I've got other people here with me and they're making me all nervous. Is that Dawn? Oh. So yeah, I don't know if I've just done the right and wrong thing or not, but What was I saying? Yeah, so we are having our little summer camp. We are going to go up there. We have Nigel, who I was mentioning before. I was trying to fill you in the story before I went down that rabbit hole. Excuse me. So we went up there. We planted our fruit and vegetables, and it really kind of upset people. They didn't want us on there. But the local authority, the council, they never said a word. They were just dead quiet. Like I say, now I've filled you in a bit. You get the story. You kind of get, well, yeah, why would they? They don't want the media to talk about it. And by media, I don't mean like the real media, us, okay? I mean, again, that's just something I've learned. I mean, the corporate media, the BBC, I'm not saying them. So, yeah, and radio, many shows, so forth, right? You know, just look at it on the internet, you know, you don't think it's hard to find all this stuff. And, yeah, they never spoke of it. They never mentioned it. And this is part of why Darkcity Radio's here, because everybody else did neither. We were psyops. You know, when people go on about, oh, it's a psyop. No, we were. There were radio stations and people actually came to see us, and they tried to just break it up. Tried to spoil it. Why would you want to spoil it? And I really, again, I didn't get why. I really didn't get why. Why would they want to spoil it? You know, we were saying it's free, this now. It's a free bit of land, it's yours. Exactly the same as we were saying about the radio. I didn't get that I was a slave, trying to demand that they give me something. I really didn't. And not until the day we went up there and actually took it. We just went and did it. You know, when we actually turned up there, there were about 15 or 20 of us, and that were like 30 or 40 then. And they were coming every week, and it was great. We were turning over a bit of land, we were planting stuff, we were meeting people, it was brilliant. And don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. You know? Why people stopped going. You know, why that went away. Don't know. Can't tell you. The land's still the same piece of land. You know, that's not changed. Maybe it's because I'm not going. Well, that'd be a bit egotistical. Maybe it's because, I don't know, we all had so much to do. There's so much pressure on. But people do still go. It has still been tendered. It's not a lot, but there's a lot to do. And for me, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So yeah, if you can, if you're out there, I mean, I know there's only, have we got 20 odd people on that one? I can't see what the other one is. So I'll do about 30 people live on the stream at the moment, which antiquates in a month's time to something like 60, 70,000 hits or something. They're monthly stupid figures they give. Which is massive for this kind of radio. Massive. But, you know, tell your friends. Put the word around for us. Use your click buttons, you know. Exercise your mouse wheel. Exercise your mouse wheel. And just let people know. We've informed the local authorities who contacted Nigel today by email. And by that, I mean the police. This council, they know all about it, what we're doing, we've told everybody, have completely ignored us and still ignore us, pretend we're not there and nothing's happening. So, yeah, my response is to the police, the landfill site, we're going to have it on the landfill site, the illegal landfill site that you lot are ignoring. So the expected numbers have been given to Greater Manchester Police, and they are 100,000 plus. That's right, 100,000 plus people are expected by Greater Manchester Police to be descending on Ashton-under-Lyne. Look, how would we know how many people are going to arrive to a free piece of land, okay, to a free piece of land, right, which is the only bit of common land we know about, right? The council haven't disputed it. They're quite happy that we took the land, it's our land, and that's what we're doing. There is no... Of course, behind the scenes, you know, with the reptilian mindsets, you know, and the crooked hands and fingers all twisted up, and, the, you know, writing in pig's fat blood, their little scribes will scurry away into the night, you know, writing their contracts in whatever they write them in, you know, their own feces. You know, oh, we've got this bit of paper now that says you can't do what you can do. Hang on a minute. How are you going to enforce it? How are you going to enforce it, right? The vegetables. The only thing that's been occupying that land. Oh, and actually, just to let you know that we have been in full occupation of the land now for over 3 years, that there has been a tent pitched on there, and the council have been aware of this, and the planning department have been aware of this, and it's maybe been fully visible, and they have not, so that means that we can build whatever we want. Alright, there's no dispute over the planning on this land. No dispute. You can build whatever you want now. Alright? Up to a certain size, I can't remember what it is. But you can build as many of them as you like, yeah. So that's fine, right? Come along if you want to build something. Yeah, that's fine. Now, there is a gate which is in obstruction of this, and we've actually told the council repeatedly, over and over again, yeah, over and over again, look, right, will you please remove your gate or take your padlock off? Because it's causing an obstruction to the car park that you told them to put there for the allotment site. You see the irony of this? Why we've got to inform them that their gates... Now, there's only one sign that's saying it's private, and we agree that that sign is pertaining to their gate. That's their gate, and it's their stump, and it happens to be on our drive. Okay? It's blocking our land. And look, we told you that right at the beginning, when we took the land, we were only going to charge you £100 a week for the rent for the gate. So, Greater Manchester Police, there's the first thing you could do, alright, regarding Ashton allotment actions. You could get down there with the local council and get the lock took off the gate. Otherwise, you're going to have a problem with people backing all the way up the bloody street. Are you with me? I would actually, if I were you, you know, with the massive surveillance equipment you've actually got, that you use for the BNP meeting, no, the Nazi Youth League meeting, no. Oh, the combat, you know.
EDL.
EDL, that's it, yeah, EDL. Oh, EDL, right, well, them lot, right. All that you put out there, right, I suggest that you use, like, some of that, right, to actually go down there and take the fucking lock off the gate. Right, there's some nice policemen in Ashton, actually. We met one, he gave me a hug. It was one of my first hugs I had off a policeman. And it kind of opened the floodgates for me, you know. And I'm really pleased about that. He's a really great guy, and I know he wanted to get joined in. And I know that because he's a member of the local Masons and the Masonic Lodge, which is right at the back of the police station, right, that he weren't allowed to, right, because of that hierarchical system that you've got in there. You sad bunch of fucks. You don't grow up and be a man by kneeling down to some hierarchical pussy group. Sure! Get a grip and get a life. Dave Matthews, bring it on, mate. Right, so anyway, before you do, Dave, join us, Ashton Allotment Action Rights, right near Junction 23. We'll be there, right? There's fire-breathing dragons, right? We've got reptilian Draco masters of the underworld, which are gonna rise in the full demonic entity, right? Right in the middle of Ashton Underline's market ground. They've already got in. They know this is happening. They've already got £4 million. It's going to rise up. There's going to be a great big... Right, and I tell you who told me about this, right? It's a taxi driver from London. What's he called? A taxi driver.
Mark.
No, he's dead. Mark told me all about it, right? The Draco Lizard Queen, right? She's rising from the underworld, right? It's breaking news. You're not going to find it around. And if we don't raise the vibrational state of the area in love and harmony and dance and music and joyous seeding of the land before the people, the Draco Kingdom is going to take over and swallow us all up forever. Of course, I don't really kind of do all that, mate. I just think the local council are robbing us blind, right? And the next step is they'll just start killing people like our local MP. I mean, they're not going to kill me. I mean, I'm a mentally ill crazy guy who thinks he can set up a radio station that'll make a difference on the internet. This is the internet! Radio died out like 50 years ago. The internet rocks. Right, come on. Who's in there? Dave.
Right.
Dave.
I've got
Don't forget,
a
join
one
us.
about this gate. I want to talk about this gate. Now, obviously, the council have set a legal precedent in that they now issue their own summonses. So if they already owe you a lot of money for this gate and you made them aware of it and they didn't rebut it, etc., perhaps you should follow their example, issue a summons to them, and then look up which bailiff firm they use to collect their debts, and then pass the debt on to the bailiff firm.
be my guest, Dave, as our legal representative of Darkcity Radio. Ashton Allotment. Right, just a minute. Just a minute. I have the sacred key. I have the sacred key. I don't know what they do with the sacred key.
But it might be worth, sending them a notice, just letting them know that you're not prepared to extend them any more credit, as they haven't, shown a good track record of paying their bills on time.
I have actually offered them unconditional surrender.
Oh, well, that's good. And yeah, that looks good in the court if you bring it to court. But I think that you should follow their precedent and actually, instruct the same bailiff firm as they use. Maybe if you can find out who it is, I'll make a call to them tomorrow just to see if they're interested in buying the debt, and we can go down those roads and basically, let them lead by example.
Well, Ashton Underline Council, Tameside Council's information is available on Ashton Allotment Actions little webpage, which is attached to Bob's Backyard, and that's www.bobsbackyard.co.uk. There you go. / capital A, capital A, capital A.
Okay, I'll get on it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on there. I'm sure the information is there, with the contact information for Tameside Council, and they'll tell you who the bailiffs are, or whatever. But in all fairness, we don't get anywhere. The BBC actually did go and try and talk to the council, and they wouldn't talk to them at all about anything, and they refused to comment. As many other organisations, the National Allotment Association went down there, and in all fairness, they can't really do anything. But what gets me is about that association, Dave. I'm going to set up my own association if you do the paperwork for me, David, and it's called the Get Off Your Ass, You Fat Bastards, and Stop Taking Us Money National Allotment Association, right? Or words to that effect. I think we might have to abbreviate that. It's a bit of a mouthful. But there's a guy, Dave somebody or other, he's a Dave, and he really worked hard to try and do it. He's a dead genuine bloke, right? Our local dude, right? And as it all boiled down to it, he's like, well, they couldn't do it. They should have been riddling the council to death through the courts. They really should. These people pay their money to that society, and they all buy a share in it so they can be part of a bigger thing. And the bigger thing's screwing them all. They let these little societies just take over one by one. And that's just on the allotment side of it, Dave, what I've uncovered. All I wanted to do was grow fruit and veg, get a few fish in the ground, and put my aquaponics to test. That's all I really wanted to do. So, yeah, it's...
the system's got so far gone, they own the courts, they own the bloody judges. If you get, you go on the .gov website to pay a court fine, it makes me laugh. It's just, it's so corrupt. But,
Yeah. Yeah, like you say, man, I don't know what to say a lot of the time to some of the responses we get to these things that we do. It's as if that it's like a sweeties. They treat us like sweeties in the shop. We've had people. Like I say, I don't want to take it away from the genuine people that have come to help us. Or not help us. It's not really about helping us. How I look at it is, I've done my work as far as that place is concerned. I've done that. We've kind of stood as like gatekeepers now, or guardians of the little place, caretakers. That's the word, caretakers. We've been on that little bit of land. Just 2 or 3, 4 or 5 people, just popping up and down there. Maybe a dozen or so, and there's passers by. They keep their eye on it. There's probably loads I don't even know about. But the number of people that, like I say, they come along like a sweets. Oh, look at this. Oh, they've been on the telly. Oh, that's all great. Here at Darkcity Radio. And then someone else comes along and it's like, all right, that's it. Gone. Onto something bigger and better and sweeter and nicer, And,
more as chip paper.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. And I've got to a stage, me, Dave. I'll be dead honest with you. And it's just like, fuck them. Do you know what I mean? I don't dislike people for that, the nature they've got of doing that. But don't they realise that it drains people of their energy, drawling on forever, going on, you don't get anywhere. I'm thinking, really, just forget it. Forget it. Is it really worth it? I keep getting to, oh, well, yeah, you know, we'll get there, we'll make it, it's only another few weeks or another few... I've been hearing that bullshit, mate, for 30 years. For 30 years, oh, it'll get better, you know. What? Hang on a minute, we're being screwed. Oh, you're a lunatic. What do you mean I'm a lunatic? There's something wrong with you. You're being con... Look, it's there in black and white. Now they've built a hill. They've built a hill, right? And I'm not kidding, it's a hill, isn't it? Am I exaggerating here, Chris? I'm not, am I right?
I came to this area when I was a child, and now there's different hills. What's going on?
They've built an hill, right? How much of this shit have they built around us, right? Nobody's noticed, because people live in it.
It's the lizards.
How have they done it, Dave? I'm not...
The earth is bubbling up underneath this place, it seems to me. The last time I come here, it was flat.
It was a low-lying area. It's a hill. I mean, and it's like, oh, it's the golf course. And people look at it and go, all right. And they just walk off. Oh, what they're doing? Oh, they're doing something. What was it?
They've done it because they know there's never going to be... They know that they control the system enough that we can't get remedy against them. They know that, you know, they can... It's just a protection racket. They just keep railroading over us. What are we going to do? What can we do? I don't know. We've got to do something, though. So,
if anybody is actually coming to the Ashton illegal tip demonstration, right, that we've organised this weekend, under the disguise, right, under the disguise of the Earthfest, great move out there by them people who know how to deal with this. Thank you very much for the heads up on this, right. We actually want to bring as much attention to the illegal tip that's there, okay. We've already took the land. Right next to it, right? It's huge, isn't it? Oh, what do you want? What do you want? I mean, you think about what you want. Football stadium? You can have a full football stadium. You could build a little Wembley there, couldn't you? You wouldn't have much of a problem, you know. And I'm not suggesting you do. Oh, we do, really. We need the green belt. We need some bit of green. They're ripping the lungs away. The M60's kind of, oh, we've got the M60 ring road. They've come right up to it. They've driven off like a wedge now into the town centre. They just carry on. They just carry on and they carry on. And I get what them people say about that like faceless reptilian monster just chewing up all the resources, been leaving the ground grey and black and scarred. Fuck shit, look at Google Earth. Look at Google Earth. It's like, wow, it's real. It's called Google Earth. Look at that. You can see it on Google Earth. They're actually, literally, slowly but surely, chewing up the planet and concreting it with, you know what amazes me? With out of town shopping centres. Nobody's got any money. I mean, where's all the money?
That's all right. We'll put it all on the internet, and we'll have a robotic warehouse that'll post it out to you.
Come on, is it just me? Have I lost the plot yet again? You know, it's preposterous, this. And now look, just let me bear in mind, I just want everybody to know that I'm still in agreement that my actions are what I've actually done, are not actually, what do they call them? They're irresponsible. I've had irresponsible actions there. That's what the local council have said. Not particularly to me, not personally. They never accused any individual. Well, no, they threatened to lock Nigel in the dark, deep pit and take away all his worldly goods if we'd mentioned the solicitor accordingly again.
Better not do that then.
No, but then they actually admitted that it was them, that they were representing them in the manner, you know, they're just lying, cheating thugs, really, you know, that's who they are, you know. Oh, you know, I wanted to mention that. Well, stop telling lies then. If you stop doing it, right, and this is my point, if they would have done something, if the council would have got off their lazy fat asses, any of them, walked across the bleeding road, opened their eyes, they could have seen it. You don't need to get somebody, right, to come down and assess the situation. Right, what you do is, you get off your fat asses, and you come down to the Ashton allotment action, open your eyes, and have a look. Right? Because if it isn't what we're saying it is, then that's fine. But if it is what it's saying it is, you climb back down and you make remiss for every single action you've had against every one of us, because we've been digging. We've been digging deep. And we got you. You ain't got a choice. You really haven't. Come and meet us, and we'll sort something out. You can't say fairer than that. I can't say fairer than that. I'm not even in a position to be able to negotiate. The people that actually turn up there this weekend will be the ones you'll be negotiating with. You see? Because I'm not in a position to negotiate, because that's a common land and it belongs to the common people, right? That means you have to accept that you're as common as we are. And what's good for us is good for you. And what's good for you is good for us. None of that. Oh, well, we can come on here because we've got a piece of paper. And what do you do with your piece of paper? What do you do with it? Oh, well, we got this other piece of paper. Right, well, okay, bring me the piece of paper. Bring the piece of paper that says tipping licence. Let's see the piece of paper. Show it anybody. Tameside Council. That went on. You knew all along and you turned a blind eye. And you've turned a blind eye again. You've shut it up. You've spoken to your little mates. Oh, what can you do? Oh, we'll put the frighteners on him. What do you mean, frighteners? You can't scare fearless people. you stupid. See what I mean? I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll break up the families and we'll say this and we'll do that and we'll do it. Whatever. You know, you do us a favour. Thanks. I'm having a great time. You know, and every time they've done anything at all, you know, all right, it's been hard. It has been hard. Whoever it may be, but, you know, thanks. I'm having a great time. A real good time. And it's going to get better. It's going to get better. Can't get any worse. It can't get any worse. And I keep telling myself that. It can't get any worse. Because it's never going to get any worse than this. You know, we're allowing it to happen. We're allowing it to happen. So yeah, come down, point it out, have a look at it, have a good time, sit round. We don't know what we're doing. We've been told firewalking. We've been told about there's people firewalking.
There's some art planting.
Art planting, drums. I believe somebody actually mentioned about the Olympics. We did have a joke about the Olympics that were up there and the Olympic teams we were actually having. But that was a while ago. You can see how long this has been going on. So yeah. Just come up and have a look. Yeah, bear witness. Just bear witness. You know, bring a tent. You know, there's a few people going to be staying there up over the solstice.
Live music.
I've been speaking, like I say, I've been speaking to other people today. I've kind of done some of that spiritual training and I've looked at a few things. And, you know, it's all very nice and good, all that, Love and Light Brigade. You know, and I respect you all about as much as I respect my local council. Not at all. You see, to me, it's all right going, the whole world is beautiful and it's all lovely and somebody else is going to sort it out. It's exactly the same scenario. I know you're not bad people. None of you are. None of you are. But you know, you can't keep hiding behind that. They're good and they're bad and they're right. It ain't about good and bad. It's about what you do and what you don't do. It's about what you do and what you don't do. It's simple. You know, I suppose I was anonymous. I was anonymous. Because nobody knew about us. Now loads of people know about us. I walk into the courtroom and they go, hey, you're the man off the telly. Telling you the amount of shit, it all changes. It just all changes. It's bullshit, but it changes. People change the way they react with you. Oh, we're not right. Oi. We in the media, all right. Oh, okay. They're terrified. I don't think they're actually terrified of the media. I think they're just terrified of anybody who might know more about it than they do. And most of that fear can be diminished, you know, through conversation, through a bit of food, you know, meeting people, having a drink. And I don't necessarily mean getting drunk. You know, I don't. You know, breaking food. Speaking and talking to people. Conversation. It can bring enemies together and turn them into adversaries, and they can leave family. It's an opportunity. And that's why I even right down to this day now, I say to them, come on. We know you haven't got the tipping licence. We know you can't bring it, right? That's just me slapping you about with it, right? I'll let it go. I'll stand in court and tell them. You were coerced, and you didn't know what you were doing. You were pushed into demand because you didn't know better for some stupid demonic ritual. It's all right. You didn't know what you were doing. If you had done, you wouldn't have done it. If you knew what your actions would have led, to where it's got. And I ain't just talking about this little allotment action. You know that out there. And you know who I'm talking to. You know exactly who I'm talking to, don't you? Yeah, right. Yeah, I can see who's logged on and who's not logged on. Yeah, where you coming from? What area you're in? You know? And I ain't got a problem with you people. I haven't. Well, Greater Manchester Police. I haven't got a problem with you. I've got a problem with the ones of you that act outside what David called your jurisdiction, right? What I would call humanity. Because that ain't human. You need to look inside yourselves and be like that officer, that constable that came up there the first time and asked us what we were doing. He was proud. He was a nice man. Yeah, all right, it'll probably turn out that, what's been said has been said, that these lot are all kind of, what's stopping you is the Masonic regalia. I find it hard to say that, mate. It's ridiculous. What? What? Some stupid little boys group, right, of immature men who've got to gather together in this. Do you know what? What are they going to do? What are they going to do? Oh, well, they go all the way up to the Vatican and they'll send it then. What?
Over some vegetables.
What? Over vegetables? You see what I mean? Over vegetables. What have I done here? We've stumbled across. It's going to cost them billions of dollars. European, right? The European government, not government, whatever they're called, them European, the other corporate body, right? Sells in, if these people do this, then we will fine them this much money per ton. Ha! Go on, men. Go on. No, we're not. We're going to pretend it isn't happening. We're all agreed that within our corporation that we won't actually kind of fight against one another. Oh, you mean like the courts do? You mean like the bar, you mean like churches do and all that? Use people and use them to do the dirty work for them, rather than actually getting off the fat asses and having a look themselves. Telling you, I don't know what it is. I have not yet seen one councillor at Tameside Ashton, right, who's not got a fat ass. I think that's what it is now. They're embarrassed. They're that embarrassed, right? They're all in fitness program right now.
Shares between 85.
I'm telling you, and I'm going to keep ripping the fun out of you, right? Until one of you can come up and be man enough to shake my hand and apologise. Not even want you to apologise. I just want you to get on with it and put it right. Get the water put on, get it sorted out. I reckon you've got about, to get it right now, you've probably got about 12 hours. No, 14. Look, if you can agree to IKEA being built in the town centre, right, the demolition of it, the rebuilding of the entire area, right, in less than, 6 months, right, you can get your gate open within 14 hours, right, or Dave's going to be sending you a bill. Am I right, David? He's fell off then. Look at that. We're right.
No, I'm on it.
Are we alright, mate? Are you on it?
Yeah.
Are we
I
alright?
will be on it. I will definitely be sending them a bill. I need to know how long the gate's been there and all that stuff. And like I say, we'll let them know.
How long it's been there? 14 years.
14 years. So we can't extend
Make
it. It would be
13. I like that 13 number. Let's get that big 13 on there. They like that, don't they, at the Masonic people?
But it would be foolhardy to extend them any more credit, wouldn't it?
It would be what?
Foolhardy.
To extend them what? Any more credit?
Extend them any more credit.
I don't know what we've been crediting them for at all, man. I really don't know what we've been crediting them for at all. Like I say, people who know this stuff, come and have a look. I will tell you whatever I know, I really will. But, a lot of it wants checking. It wants checking, it wants verifying. That's all. Have a look. Just have a look. Come here and have a look. Mate, just tell me I'm not crazy. Just tell me I'm not nuts. That's all I want to know. I don't mind being mad if I know I am, but to me, they've built a fucking hill, right, out of shit and covered it over with dirt, right?
Put a gate in front of it.
They put a gate there. Oh, look, there's a gate there. And I mean, this is, like I say, this is not the 750,000 square metres, 750,000 square metres, which we now actually claim as common land. We've expanded it, you see, because we actually found out that they're trying to sell it, right, to build industrial units on. The actual very bit they actually give us is it's a larger plot. They never had any intentions of putting it on there. Why would they allow people to start digging on that land? Why would they allow people to go on there and start digging? There ain't no way on earth they wanted anyone digging on that piece of land. When we went on there, that was a thorn in the side of the corruption that's been going on in this town for God knows how many years. God knows. No one knows it's been going back that far. That's it. Because when we started digging, there it was. I mean, I'm talking literally here. I'm not talking, we're going to go and data mine them on the internet. We went there with shovels and started digging up the ground, and we started finding stuff. Stuff you don't find. You shouldn't be finding. We shouldn't be finding it there repeatedly. Hang on a minute. Then we asked people, you went and have a look. We went and had a look on the other side of the hill where the very small amount of topsoil they put over it and washed away, and you could see it. It was, there's all sorts. The contents of people's sheds and, you know, bits of mattresses and, you know. I mean, of course, the majority of that, it's gone through these machines. The rock breakers, they just churn everything up, they chew it all up, and it just comes out in chunks, you know, in buriable pieces of unknown waste. Unknown waste. I do believe it can be sorted out that the Environmental Agency could put a slot, you know, they can put a slot in it and they can find out what's there. They don't have to, it could be sorted out. But unfortunately, since I've actually found out about what truth really is, then I can't save the council and the people of this area from the amount of money they're going to have to pay off this massive amount of debt. All I can say is I'm really glad from a taxpayer's point of view that it's not in Ashton. And I live in Ashton and there is no site in Ashton because they moved it. And all that about, oh, well, we're making provision for the people of Ashton to have allotments. Lying, cheating, bags of scum. There is no allotments in Ashton-under-Lyne, except for the, you know, the very, very secret alternative site that you don't want no one to know about right at the back of the new football stadium. You know, next to the horseman arch that you actually promised and you still haven't put in. Yeah. Of course we know where it is. The architect told us. You see, the people of this town, the police, the fire, ambulance, right, even the court, security, staff, agree with us. National Allotment Society agrees with us. You know, even the fucking BBC agree with us. Well, okay, they weren't allowed to mention anything about the illegal tip and the government and the council trying to cover up the internet sites and making out it wasn't there and it had never been there and it didn't exist. Even to their own people inside the council. Even to the people who were inside the council. Hang on a minute. Why wouldn't the councillors know? Why wouldn't they... Stream. I don't know if you can still hear us or not, right? But, yeah. Well, that's weird, isn't it? All them people have gone and joined that room over there, right? And now we're getting it on the stream here. Are we still going out? I'm not quite sure if we're still live or not at the moment. If you're on the back, if you actually are in difficulty hearing us now, but you can still hear us at all, then go to the caster stream, www.darkcity.caster.fm, and you should be able to get us on there. But yeah, it's gone, that stream. It's buffering now. No service available. Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, it is there. We are just about making it, but it looks like that stream could fail at absolutely any moment at all. So, hey, I suppose we better call that the end of the night before more damage gets done. But yeah, the synchronicities of what actually takes place are phenomenal. Barry, do you want to have a rant, man? We're limping here. We are getting a little bit greener, but we're very red at the moment. So do you want to get on, Barry?
I've been listening all night. I don't know if I have any rants in me, but like, you guys are talking about stuff that I'm still learning about and all this legal bullshit. But what I can tell you from what I can see, guys, our systems are corrupt right to the very bottom, and it blows me away how deep the corruption goes. It's like Guy was saying earlier today, man. We all got to learn ways just to buck the system and occupy their time instead of them occupying our time. And it gets you thinking outside the box, guys. It really does. I know Miss Hazel's out there, and she is a great conversationalist. So, Hazel, you should jump in here and have a talk with me because we really get some good conversations going. I've been waiting all day to talk to you, Hazel. Hello, Hazel.
Come on, Hazel.
Hi there. I'm here.
There you go. You're telling me you're in a crazy mood today. You've posted some really weird things on your notes here, so I just kind of wondering what's going on there in Southern. Are you getting a lot of chemtrails, or have they been spraying a lot lately, or what are you eating? You haven't been pigging out on Trident sugarless gum, have you?
That dang ice cream. It's all about ice cream, right? No, yesterday I was walking home and I got sucked into this meeting that was going on with the chiefs from down south back here, and they're opening their own banks, which I was not impressed to be drug into this because I don't think we need any more money issues, right? It's just they were just repeating white man's ways, but they're trying to do it without interest. They're already having attempts on their life, and people are already signing up to go into this bank. It's in the Squamish area, and it's Capilano and Squamish together that are opening up this bank. So it's two nations, and right now they're just covering all of Canada, and they're approaching all the businesses to open up because they're really choked after what our government did when they went over to Switzerland, and Canadians are no longer to be tax-free over there.
Yeah,
right?
Well, our government is selling out, and I take my hats off to a lot of things that the natives are doing. Some of the things I don't agree with, but a lot of things I do. We've got to tackle government face on because they're basically selling us out right now, right behind closed doors. Man, laws are being passed that we don't even get to vote on anymore. It's become very, very corrupt inside our government, and at least they're recognizing it and addressing it, and that's necessary right now. Hazel, really is.
You know, voting is a waste of time.
I know it is.
It's just a waste of time. I don't even participate in that. I don't participate in the petitions. I really am somebody that just does not comply with the crap. When I found out the truth, I pulled out all my insurance. I pulled out education funds. I pulled out stocks. I pulled out all the money from the bank. I pulled out $80,000, which I never even knew I had. I just started pulling it. That's how much money some people really do have and aren't even aware. I even pulled out all my retirement fund. I was like, screw this crap. I just don't participate. I don't even leave money in the bank. If I have a check coming, I go there, I cash it, I take the money out. I am not going to be supportive of the system anymore. It's just my way as a single mom to make my intent real, right?
So tell me, Hazel, with this movement by the Squamish Band, do you think that's a movement to drive a deeper division between us and the native people, or is just them out of context being so pissed off with the government that they're making this move? Because there's a couple different opinions on that, you know. I mean, I do see our government driving stakes between us and the native population in a lot of ways. That's one of my observations, and I was just wondering what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, they are doing that in the universities, and they're doing it really strong. And we white people, as the government now calls us, the white people are victims. We
are being treated as the second-class citizen in this country.
Yeah, victims of racial society.
Yeah,
but what's happening with the bank is not about racism at all. However, I spoke with someone this morning because I needed a little bit more and I knew somebody that was sitting in jail for 3 months that required assistance from Arlene, who's the wife of the chief. And she read some of the documents that came that was set up for this banking system. And one of the words that was really predominant is, I understand. I understand. Sign the dotted line.
Yeah, you're right, Dave. They have broken every treaty. But what has happened in Canada, and this is a general consensus amongst the white people that I have conversations with every day, is that they are very, very upset about the way that money is dispersed to the bands, how it is spent, what accountability they have, and what a division in our society it has created. Because they are getting, I mean, I know there's lots of pros and cons to every argument, but I'm just expressing the feelings that I get from general population conversations with the white people. They really feel like we are being shit on, that what is done with it. I mean, there's pros and cons, and I'm not being prejudiced here. I'm expressing a feeling that I get from everybody that I talk to in the general white population, Hazel, is that they shouldn't be given everything that they're given, and that we should all be treated equal in this country. And what a lot of guys feel, white people feel, is they've created a huge division in our society, where the Indians, they look down at us. Their native brothers, they look down at us. We're second-class citizens. And I'm not blaming them for it, because it's been given to them over the years. But I do think that our whole system needs to be revamped. That we have created great divisions in our country amongst our people, and I think
they're just doing what we need to be doing. We have I think Bob or Paul, is it right that Karen's coming on? I know I had to part the other day, but is Karen coming on? She's very knowledgeable with the treaties. She's a White Bear Clan mom.
Things, yes, lots and lots of different things. There's chat, there's music, diversity, an occasional argument, for the warmongers. We need to have a little bit of war and argument for those people who just live in the Fair factory.
Sections, and I've also posted up the Canadian Heritage website for you to go and look that up, Hazel. So
I just clicked on that, the Section 52 Constitutional Act of 1982. But weren't you saying it was for the year of 2005?
I didn't look what year that was for.
For the one that you just posted up was for 1982.
Yeah, but that was when the charter was done, wasn't it?
Yeah. So then you're saying in 2005 it was revamped?
I'd have to check that. I'll have a look now.
Okay. Well, this is a good thing that Barry's getting connections with the chiefs, because certainly they have the land, the title, and the means to be making some product for people, and they could actually have some really great healing centers going on up in the Northwest. So that'll be interesting. Did we lose you, Barry?
Well, I don't want to say this, right, but Chris has just said the servers are under attack right now. We're a bit busy.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah. You are making known.
And listen, the people who are actually typing to me, just listen to us here. We're telling you right now, yes, it's happening right now. All these people who keep saying they can do something about it, it's happening, right? Thank you. Please carry on with your conversation.
Well, we're all doing a little bit in some way, aren't we? We're all doing something, and that's important. I mean, the legal stuff just kind of boggles my mind, but lots of other things I'm involved in, and if we all do that, man, everybody will add to the big puzzle.
Well, I was just saying, Barry, if you can get all these chiefs together, because they have the lands and means, and they have their own law, right? Their own police. I know. They can have real good healing centers. Then you can stay up there for 3 months. I know a fella up there who owns that lake, Red Sand Lake, and he owns Doreen, and his son really tried to get a healing center in there for the white people, but it was just a no-go.
That's why I'm reaching out to these people, Hazel, because this could be the key to the puzzle, and that's the way I'm seeing it right now. The interest that this email the gentleman sent me this morning, it was just phenomenal. And just the fact that he wants Rick to sit in front of a bunch of them and talk, the high-ranking individuals in the bands around here, and really get across to them what can be done with this. the sky's the limit because they can go ahead and do it right now. This guy here says, man, we're making moves right now to get into growing marijuana for medicinal purposes. Is the last thing he ended his email with me too. And Rick, I had Rick on the line with some people from Deviant Fibers, and there was a lawyer sitting in there today, and Bob Erb was in there today, and all this stuff is starting to happen. It's just like a huge wave growing, man. It's incredible.
So you're really going to have to bring out your voice, and you're really going to have to stress to these chiefs, and I will tell you why you'll have to stress this, is that they have to promote non-racism. Because in Morristown, where I went, it was the only place that came to my mind for real healing. And I went there. I drove all the way there for some healing, and he gave me 5-hour sessions. This is a First Nation guy that came out of Vancouver to work up in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
Gave me 5 hours at a time, 3 days. And when the band found out he was trying to help a white woman, they told him, under no circumstances will I return back to that little town, right?
Yeah.
And
it's sad because we have instilled this hate and racism between the white people and the Indians. And it's gone back a while that this has been going on, how it all came into being. And what we need to do is to reach out to our fellow man and show them different things. And you don't think that if this is opened up, you don't think that it's going to influence their feelings about their fellow man if this is exposed to them and they start doing this and it really has an impact on their communities and the way they think. I know what's going on inside the residents. I know the prejudice and the racism. And
I was the white woman holding their elders or their youngs who were OD'd as a nurse while they were dying. It didn't matter what my job or my profession was. It was my skin color that upset them. I wasn't enlightening them on what my participation was to their people. They just didn't want to return it.
For a better world, and maybe I'm hoping for a change in our feelings.
You're going to have to voice it out. You have to be strong and voice that out to them. Because then you're teaching them to what?
Okay, well, you better come up and help me out with that one, Hazel.
I have contacted each and every one of them chiefs last year on particular subjects to give them some training, give them the heads up, and no response.
Well, I'm getting a response now about the oil, so let's
and
see
I'm
where
glad.
that goes. Yeah, so am I, because it is the influence they can have on governments, and if they decide to go ahead and do this on reservations, there's not a whole lot the government's going to be able to do about it. And that might be an avenue to really get this out into the public. It has to come through the Indian reserves. I don't care. It's just exposing this, getting a few of the chiefs really getting on board with the concept of what can be done with the medical end of cannabis and also the industrial uses of cannabis. They're unlimited, Hazel. If you really start looking at it, if they have these facilities to grow commercial hemp and start implementing it into businesses and industry, the sky's the limit. And that's what these guys are not just looking at it as a fiber, as a healing cannabinoid. He's looking at it also as the implications of hemp in our society. And that was part of his email to me today. And that's what we really want to stress to him is we got to look at everything that hemp can do, not just the healing factors of cannabinoids. So, it's going to take time, but, I really see a change in attitude. Like I said, I haven't been involved in this a long time, Hazel, but the feedback I'm getting is very, very positive. So that keeps you going every day anyways. I'm going to get some negatives, but I'm getting lots of positives. So that's cool.
That is a good thing.
It is a good thing. And you just got to keep plunking away. I'm getting a lot of positives. I mean, just the fact that some really good people at Deviant Fibers, their hemp shop in town, are just now they're really kind of just going ecstatic that we're doing these things up here, and we got these people. They went online and looked at Dean Clifford, and Zach was on YouTube there last night. He said for 3 hours listening to Dean and his links. And he says to me today, I was into Deviant. He says, Barry, is this guy coming too? I said, yeah, he's a friend with Rick, and he's going to be here the same time as Rick. He says, whoa, man, this is really cool because you're going to get different perspectives from all kinds of different people in a very short period of time in a small community. And maybe that'll be the thing that really gets this place rocking and rolling. I feel it coming. I feel it coming, Hazel. I really do.
Well, you need change up there because it's going stagnant, right? If it doesn't, and everybody's too sick and toxic.
We just need a wave to start somewhere with a whole pile of people getting behind it. And I just keep feeling that we keep plunking away like this, that it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Maybe it'll take a year. Maybe it'll take 6 months. Maybe it'll take 2 years. But it's going to happen. And I think the natives, even one band grabs this and runs with it. Well, watch out, because one of them is going to mean 3, and 3 is going to mean 6. Because they do talk with each other, and they're all related, and they're all they're all friends. I mean, sure, there's a bit of discrepancies between the bands, but you get one of them speaking loud about this, it's going to go a long, long ways, my dear. A long, long ways. So that's what I'm doing. I'm looking at different angles and approaches to really get this going. And today, getting that email from this guy got me off the ground about 10 feet. So that's cool. And plus the fact that I've got connections up in the NAS now with the Nishkas, and they're looking at this. And I told you about the Elder up there, and it's kind of like, it's cool. It's really cool. Anyways, somebody else say something for a few minutes. Talk, Dave. When are you booking your flight? You got to be here around the 3rd week in August or the
I've
2nd
been
week in August.
looking. I think flights are 349. They're not expensive, but yeah, I was just saying on the chat there. I feel bloody useless tonight, and like a rabbit in headlights.
Why is that?
I don't know. It's kind of like knowing all of the stuff that we know, and the stuff with your rights and things like that. Yet they still just steamroller straight over you. It's just. What do you resort to? What do you do about it? And it's just so frustrating because I'm trying to help people to not be afraid and sort of assert their rights in court and stuff. And now that it would appear that that's even stopped working. So, at that point where you can't even, your rights are going to be taken away from you. And this is worldwide, this is like all the big countries that have got the Crown. This Crown Corporation of London involved, like the Foreign Administration in Canada, we're just in big trouble. It's part of I think the people that are making the laws, they don't even know that it's part of a bigger plan. It's just scary. I don't know, what can I do?
Yeah, I know some days you feel like banging your head against the wall. And you know what, Dave, I know everything you're saying is true, buddy, and I see it worldwide, but I just kind of focusing my energies now on something that's positive that I can have effect on directly in front of me, because what's going on in the world, buddy, it's beyond our comprehension. The level of corruption inside of governments, inside of every aspect of people that are so-called our heads of states and our rulers and our governments and our prime ministers it boggles the mind, and it's a rabbit hole that just keeps getting deeper and deeper and deeper. And you, like I said, you bang your head against the wall. You try and teach people their rights. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to go home and put on the TV, and I don't really care what you're saying, because I can still go to the grocery store and I can still go to the gas station and get gas for my car. But all of a sudden, that's going to change, and they'll wish.
Well, yeah, and that's the ultimate control, isn't it? Because
it is.
Like I say, there's no aspect of your life really that isn't regulated and controlled. Well, there's only a few, but I think they'll probably get to them soon as well. They can literally shut down everything, Dave, in a matter of days. And that's the control they have now. So that's a pretty scary thought, but let's not get into that. Let's talk about medical marijuana. And on that subject, I phoned Cancer Research UK today, which is a charity. And I spoke to a woman called Val, and I said, look, I just want to, ring up and ask you if, you'd heard about Rick Simpson's hemp oil, and I told her that I was independent media, and that I was ringing up to tell her that I'd seen facts and evidence and studies where people had been cured consistently within sort of 3 months and blah blah blah. And then Ali stuck a note under my face then that said, ask her if she's excited that there's finally a cure for cancer, sort of thing. So because she was being evasive at that point anyway. So I asked her, I said, well, do you feel excited that there is because all she wanted to do was go to robot mode and guide me towards a section on their website that, mentioned Rick Simpson. So I haven't even had a chance to look at that yet, by the way. But I asked her, I said, personally, I said, you work for the charity or whatever. Are you excited that there could be a cure for cancer? Oh, I can't comment on that. No, but I said, how do you feel about it? Oh, well, I haven't got any feelings about it because, I'm not allowed to. I work here. And I was thinking, you work for a cancer charity. You claim that you're this charitable organization and you're there for the love of it and blah, 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 blah. And I'm telling you that there's this exciting news about this cure for cancer and you're not allowed to have an opinion. And I suppose that's just like another kick in the bollocks, But I think that if we can get, 10 people or 20 people a day to ring Cancer Research UK, who probably steal a lot of the money. I think somebody said that the head of it is on like £150,000 a year. Somebody said that the other day, I think, didn't they? It'd be very interesting to see if you can make those sorts of people start to think about it,
Well, if he's making 150K a year, David tells you who's influencing him, and where he's getting his paycheck from. I mean, they don't want to address this because there's so much hypocrisy and so much bureaucracy involved with staying along the mainstream agenda of chemotherapy and radiation drugs and blah blah blah. That these people are just like they're threatened to even look at something different. It's totally outside of what you're supposed to be looking at, and we're going to follow this agenda, and it's really sad. It's a hypocrisy. I mean,
and it's
even right now.
It's the self-policing as well, isn't it? It's like
exactly,
you step outside what is considered to be the normal train of thought. You must trust in the medical profession and whatever.
That's the only answer. That is the answer, and there's no other answer.
And then, and you're scared to. I think people are in such fear. Like we were discussing the other night, that they would rather die than risk breaking the law. How ridiculous is that?
I mean, how stupid can you be? If I had cancer and I heard there was another cure out there, possibly even a rumor, you don't think I'd be exploring it, man? Holy shit. I'd be making phone calls and I'd be going on the internet and then I'd be making some more phone calls. But, I'll give another example of this, Dave, the other day. I've got a free night that I'm giving for students at the R&Lee Theater for Rick, okay? Anybody with a student card can attend it from the age, we're going to say, from 15 or 14 to 18 years old. Anybody with a student card. Well, the school board called me yesterday through the R&Lee Theater and said, well, Mr. Prince, because of the controversy of the subject, we are going to allow you to present this to the students, but they're going to have to bring a note from their parents saying they can attend, right? And I went, by the time kids are in high school, every one of them's heard about marijuana. Probably every one of them smoked it, and yet they go along with this agenda of protecting their children. So now we're going to go ahead with this, and I know I'll fill it up with students, but they're going to have to bring a note from their parents saying they can listen to Rick Simpson present scientific evidence, man. It just goes to show you how far the bureaucracy goes in our system. Protect the students. Protect them from what? From information that will just open their minds and change their lives? Okay, but anyways, we're going along with their agenda, and that's what we're going to have to do. Students are going to have to bring a note from their parents that they can listen to Rick talk. Well, what a crock of shit. What a crock of shit. But anyways, we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it, Dave. He's going to be, I got the Saturday night for students, man, and I think, honestly, that's the best money that a person could ever spend in their life, is putting this in front of the young minds, man, because we've got to reach them. We've got to get them thinking and looking and understanding what's going on this planet and how close we are to killing this planet and what we can do to change it and what the implications of this miracle plant can do in 10 or 15 years to this planet. We can basically start healing it from the inside out. And when you get a few of them thinking this way, buddy, watch out. And there's a lot of young minds out there, and we just got to reach them. And that's what I feel is the most important. That and the elders. With this links now that I'm getting with the elders and the reservations, pointing out to them what's going on in our society and what's happening to children. The fact that their suicide rates are the highest in Canada, that their citizens are grossly obese and represent 80% of the disease in this area, or 70% of the disease, with 13 or 18% of the population. And they are really starting to become aware of that now, and they're looking for a change. And it's cool. It's cool what's going on here, bro. So we're going to make that work. And I feel those two avenues alone are some of the best ways to reach out to population in general. So I'll just keep on
the suicide thing that you're touching on is like, that's happening. It must be happening worldwide. It's happening here.
It's happening everywhere.
People are just
But amongst the native population, Hazelton, which Miss Hazel's very, very familiar with, has the highest rate of suicide per capita of native people in British Columbia. And that was of last year. Now, I don't know if that's changed, but those are the stats as of last year. So there's a real high in this. Hazelton's only an hour and 20 minutes away from Terrace, and it's the same everywhere, man. Out in the reservations, in Greenville and in Canyon City, you look at the suicide rates, man. It's just staggering. You know, last year 3 teens all of a sudden, boom, kill themselves in Greenville, just out of the blue.
We have a place close to where we are called Bridgend. I don't know if Paul might have heard of it. That's got the highest rate of, or did have last year, the highest rate of suicide in young people. Nobody knows why, but just it's incredible. And we've devastated the planet. We haven't wrecked it. We've absolutely devastated it. I think. You know,
Miss Hazel. Oh, sorry, Dave. I didn't mean to talk over you there. Go ahead.
Go on.
Well, like Miss Hazel said, with the native population here, and even in general population, it's so much to do with what they've got into as their diet in the last 20, 30 years. It's very, very sad, Dave, that you see them walk into stores with 4 children that at 10 years old are already grossly obese, and they walk in and spend $35 or $40, and I've seen this happen many times, on potato chips, cheesies, pop, and chocolate bars, and take them home, sit in front of the TV with their children, and eat it at night. And I'm not kidding you, buddy. I've seen it so many times. I shake my head. And it's what they've conditioned to get into in the last 30, 40 years, 50 years. Like I said, like 200 years ago, our native people in British Columbia were some of the most viral, healthy, strong people in the world, because they had to be to survive in our climate here. Would take a tremendous amount of bush skills and life skills. And they didn't have prescription drugs back then. They were living off stuff like stinging nettle and again, comfrey and all our herbs and stuff that's available in our forest that cure. It's just so sad to see it go that way. And, you know, they're really starting to wake up to it. At least I see some of the elders starting to wake up to it. So I had a really good conversation with one of their elders the other night when I went up to the NAS. And I sat in her kitchen table and I talked to her for about 45 minutes about just things in general. And you know what? She really sat down and listened to me. And it made me feel good that when I left there, that maybe I influenced her thinking in any shape or form. You know, you got to do that. You just got to tell people what you think and talk from your heart. And it seems to have an influence. Miss Hazel, why don't you add to the diet of our native people and what's going on? It's incredible in British Columbia. It seems like it's an epidemic of fast foods, cheesies, and chocolate bars.
Yeah, before when I was working with the First Nations, it'd be about, I don't know, maybe close to 20 years ago. It was, well, I noticed their skin was fuller, shinier, their hair was not gray, and they had a lot of life and vitality. They also had a lot of pride, right?
They did.
But what people don't know, and this is what really gets me, is when they have their land treaties, they sign this agreement that they were not allowed to make corporations on their land. They weren't allowed to expand in any way at all. All they were allowed were those little houses and their little shacks. So they had to get off the reserve to go to work to make money. There are a few people in your area who've managed to figure out, you know, like certain trucking companies that you're familiar with that can leave their businesses on the reserve and go work outside.
Right.
In our community.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. I see the abuse.
It took a long time for them to figure out how to get around that, right?
Yeah,
so many of them still wound up being on the welfare system after the Canadian Holocaust. And as the economy goes up, the money that's being handed to them still stays the same. So, you know, what's most affordable? Your pop and your chips. And of course, what do they do when the teeth start to rot when they're babies? Those big silver mercury, whatever they are, fillings, right, or caps that they have poor caps on the front of their teeth, and every time they're biting down, they're grinding that, they're swallowing it, they're becoming toxic. And once you have that mercury poisoning, your body doesn't sweat, and then you start to hold in all those toxins. It's just downhill from there. Yeah, they don't even have the motivation to be living off the land like they used to.
Yeah, if you look at a picture of native people, even 70, 80 years ago, you look at the general population, they're viral, healthy, very, very seldom do you see an overweight person. but now it's the opposite. That they've gone totally the opposite way. So I mean, they are looking at it, and they are starting to address it. I feel a lot of the elders in the reses are really getting concerned about their youth and what's going on inside their societies. The amount of disease they have per capita is just it's shocking. So they are looking at it, Hazel. Hope we can get their thinking going a little bit better here in the next couple of years. But anyways, it is what it is. It's bred into them, and they just keep going the same way, man. I mean, I see it all the time. And some of them you can't talk to, but some of them are really starting to become receptive.
Yeah, but you're in the hub, and oh my goodness, they need so much. There's so many troopers in that area. Let's just say that, okay?
There is.
And you have people who live in the Copper Mountain area who have not too long ago been burnt out. That's karma. It works that way. When you're running coke and heroin and all that other stuff, the reserves need to clean out their own garbage too. It's just that simple.
Well, you know that the drugs are rampant on the reservations, and it seems like they get preyed on by the dealers because they know the money's good up there, and anything they take up to these reservations they can sell. So you're right, they have to clean up their own reses, but it all gets back to their mental state of mind and how they see themselves in lives, the deep-rooted problems. And I'm not an expert, but it's all relevant, I think, to how they see themselves and how they eat, and everything is relevant to how your brain functions, And they're not functioning properly, that's for sure.
Well, I was hired as a foreman to work out in the back end of Kispiox to run a crew of boys. And within the first 10 steps, I knew what my job was. And that was to clear the coke.
Yeah,
so there I was working for the Ministry of Forestry, but I had a different job. I cleaned it out. It took me 3 hours because the first guy stepped up and says, "I'm not taking no orders from a white woman bitch." I said, "Buddy, you're fired. Get in the car. I'll drive you myself." He's done. He was fired. And the rest looked at me and went, "Oh my God. You want to keep working? Your women are not allowed up here. Neither are your drugs." It was that simple.
What I've been hearing, Hazel, through talking to people in here in town, is that ecstasy is going really big up in the reses right now. And you know how destructive a drug that is, man. But it's so easily available, and it's like they're so bored with their lives up there that I don't know what the solution to that problem is. But when you're isolated in places like Greenville and Canyon City and Kincolith, sure, there's a community center and you got TV, but really, I mean, I hear it from so many of the natives that come off the reservation that they're bored to tears. There's nothing for them to do outside of going fishing. You can only do that so many times in your life, and it can become boring. And that's one of the major problems I see on the res, is that they're isolating their people there, and they're just going crazy from boredom. So of course, when drugs come around, it's an escape for them, where they can just take a trip and leave the farm and not worry about all the bullshit that they hate where they live in, kind of thing. That I see a lot, and that's kind of my understanding about it.
But they're in a situation. They're bored up there because they're not doing anything, and you said it. They're just not doing anything. I was up there when the chief of Canyon City named me. Named me White Wolf, which is a liquid bush, and they're not gardening. They're not planting. They're not growing. They're not thriving. They're bored because they're not doing anything.
So
if they have to be made, you want to stay? You take a position in the reserve, and you state what your position is. Either you're going to get the food, or you're going to grow it, or you're going to be the carpenter, but you're going to be something. If you're going to be the drug dealer, you're going to get out.
What an interesting concept that would be, to approach the reservations and get them thinking along those lines, eh?
I know, but I can't present that because I'm an absolute anal thinker. I have a hard presentation.
Yeah, but what a great concept.
I have that mother fact going down.
Yeah, I know, but what a great concept to present to them, get them thinking along those lines, Hazel. You know what I mean? Because they have the ability to become self-sufficient. I mean, they have the money. They could set up their greenhouses. They could grow, like you said, one of them or certain groups in the community could be strictly harvest efficient and provide it for the rest of the community. And another group in the community grow vegetables every year and put them away and supply it for the community. And a couple guys in the group hunt 3, 4, 5, or 6 moose every year and provide the community. What a great concept. They could basically become self-sufficient, living within their own reservations, without having to deal with the chemicals and shit they're getting in the stores. And maybe change their thinking, but that's hard to do. I mean, what a great concept that would be,
Hey, I'll go up there
and have them growing big
tomorrow.
fields. Yeah, great big fields of commercial hemp, Well, let's get on them, Hazel. Let's get their thinking changing,
Yeah, they need
You
to
got some
just
great
stop
ideas.
fish. It's education. That's all it is. It's education. And they gotta stop sending their kids to the white school. That might shut your
Yeah.
server down.
I think everybody should stop. I think everybody should stop fucking sending their kids to school. Fuck, I think we should all homeschool them. The schools are bullshit, and you know it.
Yeah.
Bullshit. But a lot of people can't, unfortunately. It would be cool if there was a group of real good homeschoolers in this community and more of them rising up that'll take kids out of the school system and parents being forced to send their kids to school because they both work and can't homeschool them, have another option, because what they're teaching in school, man, and I know is complete bullshit. Indoctrination.
Yeah, I tried to get this idea down here.
Well, that's a good idea.
They don't have a clan mother, they have a chief. And they needed a clan mother down here. And I said, why don't you guys just set up a 150-foot greenhouse for the rest?
Yeah.
Well, because we have some kids that'll wreck it. Hey, give them the
Put on
boot.
cameras. Put on
You
a
got
camera.
teenagers doing that? Send them out. They don't need to live on the res anymore. Make them go work the white way, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, set up a couple cameras when you got the bad guys off the reservation, you go, man. And,
That's right, you're done. Don't come back.
You're right. There is, I don't see them doing anything, Hazel. I see them sitting in front of their TVs and basically going to bingos and stuff like that, but I don't see them out doing a lot of activities anywhere on the reservations. So, right, we've got to change the thinking. Hey, Dave, are you going to bed? It was nice talking to you as always, guys.
Yeah, I'm done in now. So, but yeah, as always, thanks ever so much for all your input. It's been enjoyable doing the Darkcity after, and just thanks. Yeah, I really appreciate it.
Well, thanks for having us on, Dave. Thanks,
Take care.
Darkcity Radio. Me and Hazel.
Ali said bye.
Ali saying goodbye to you. Bye. Okay, Ali.
Bye, Ali.
Bye, Ali.
Bye, guys. Sleep well. Oh, whatever.
Ali, I found you 2 pieces of Aqua Aurora in my garage today.
Ah, superb. Thank you.
I
That's
couldn't
brilliant.
find Jabba his bell siphons. Unfortunately, that's what I went for. But I did actually find some Aqua Aura. So there you go. It's only 2 small pieces, but I've got them.
Brilliant. Thanks. Thanks a lot, Paul.
You're welcome.
I'll take it.
See you later, Paul. Thanks a lot as well. Thanks, everyone. See you, Sarah, Hazel, Barry. We'll talk tomorrow, no doubt.
All right, mate.
Nice
Will
talking to you,
do.
Dave.
I'm going to. Shall I drop this server out now? Are you all done with it, folks?
Yeah.
I think we're done too, Hazel?
Yeah.
All right then, folks. That was the extended Dark City. Don't know what I'm going to call it. I'll just call it the extended Dark City. And I will. What shall I do? What shall I do?
Come to Canada.
I shall. Yeah. Don't join us at Aston Allotment Action Group. Yeah. Good fun. Let's have some fun. That's what it needs all weekend. That's what it needs. Some good positive energy putting into that bit of land.
I think it'll be a good gig, guys. From what you're telling me.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
I'm there in my mind.
Barry, we could turn up there. We could turn up on site tomorrow. I was just saying this to Chris. We could turn up there on site tomorrow. There might not be any room to camp. But,
That's right.
I do.
That would be.
I do suspect that we may be the first. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I bet the police are there before us. And they haven't actually got an issue. Just to point out there, the police they haven't actually got a problem with us. And nor have we ever had a problem with them.
Well, their presence will be there.
Cause issues. and they were only inquiring about the numbers, if we could tell them the amount of numbers, and because, you know, just for a public access and stuff, and you know, whatever they want. I just told them to contact Nigel to tell them to contact the council. They know all about it, don't they? Lying bag of scum. Let them explain it to the let the council explain it to the police. It's not my business.
You know, I'll tell you one good thing that happened today there, Paul, is Rick got to meet this Mary Jo that runs Deviant Fibers, and he was on the phone with her for about an hour today, or half an hour, and he said after that he got on Skype, he says, Barry, one of the coolest ladies I've ever met in my life. He says, I'm going to be coming to BC, he says. And then after the show was over, or I got talking to him, I'm going to get him moving to British Columbia, guys. That's what's going to happen here, okay? So that's my mission now. We're going to make Rick move into BC.
That's great news, Barry.
No, she's so cool. And they hit it off so good, Paul. He says, man, that lady is so intelligent. He's so intelligent. No, anyways, it was good. It was good.
Thank you. So, right, thanks everyone. That was the extended Darkcity. I'm going to put you.
I had to share that with you. Mary Jo and Rick hit it off like a ton of bricks today, okay? So there you go.
All right, folks.
See you, Sarah. See you guys. Always good to get in and have a talk with you.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. This has been Darkcity Radio, the extended Darkcity show.
With Babbling Berry and Crazy Hazel, the Canadian connection. Some days we're good, some days we're bad. It's kind of like a flip of the dice. Adios, guys.
There goes the bird and the parrot.
Right, there we go.
Bye, Sarah.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for joining us on the Darkcity show. This was the extended version. And tonight with us on the show was Hazel, Sarah, David, and his lovely, delectable wife, and of course the lovable Barry. I do love Barry.
I love Barry.
So yeah, I just need to do this actually before we go, because it's vitally important to everything.
Now I'm offended.
And excuse me, side me the representation of the news media, world's only media stream, Chris Sparky.
Good night, everyone.
From Resistance.
Good night.
Good night.
And now, broadcasting from multiple ground stations across the planet, this is Darkcity Radio.
This is John Connor. If you're listening to this, you are the Resistance.
Listen carefully. If we attack tonight, our humanity is lost.
I once knew a woman who told people to fear the future, that the end was coming, that all would be lost. Nobody wanted to hear her truths. Society locked her away. That woman was Sarah Connor, my mother. Now we know that what she predicted has all come to pass. Command wants us to fight like machines. They want us to make cold, calculated decisions. But we are not machines. And if we behave like them, then what is the point in winning?
Command is going to ask you to attack Skynet.
I am asking you not to. If even one bomb drops on Skynet before sunrise, our future will be lost.
So please, stand down. Give me the time to protect our future that all of us are fighting for.
This is John Connor.
Things, yes, lots and lots of different things. There's chat, there's music, diversity, an occasional argument, you know, for the warmongers. We need to have a little bit of war and argument for those people who just live in the conveyor factory.